In a world where power matters shape every interaction, understanding the important rules behind influence and dependency is key for navigating difficult social landscapes. Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power offers valuable insights into these matters, particularly Law 11. Learn to keep people dependent on you. This law, though often controversial, holds big relevance for those seeking to use influence well and ethically. Law 11 from Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power is frequently met with doubt, labeled as manipulative or unethical. However, beneath its provocative surface lies a wealth of strategic wisdom. By looking into the art of dependency, this rule unveils nuanced tactics for building influence and power, mastering the art of connection, and strategically controlling vulnerabilities. Let's explore 3 compelling ways in which this rule can empower individuals and reshape their approach to social matters. 1. Building influence and power. The art of puppetry. In exploring the intricate matters of manipulation, Law 11, famously called the art of puppetry, reveals a strategic path to using influence and power. It's a realm not for the faint-hearted, but for those who understand its subtle nuances. Central to this art is the cultivation of dependence, a delicate dance wherein one ensures that others rely on them for vital resources, guidance, or assistance. Cardinal Richelieu's historical mastery shows this rule vividly. His careful moves to rise as the main minister and vital advisor to King Louis XIII are a testament to the potency of puppetry in politics. Richelieu made a systematic isolation of the king from his trusted circle, replacing them with his own loyalists. He built a bureaucratic maze through which all matters had to filter, ensuring that he controlled the flow of information and access to the monarch. Moreover, Richelieu cleverly made crises and conspiracies that only he could resolve, thereby making the king's reliance on his steady counsel. He skillfully manipulated the perception of threats, often discovering and neutralizing supposed plots by the king's own kin, thereby cementing his importance. Through censorship of letters and pamphlets, he kept a tight grip on the sharing of information, thereby shaping the story to his advantage. When faced with dissenting military advisors, Richelieu didn't hesitate to use accusations of treachery and incompetence, ultimately dismissing them and building his control over military affairs. By centralizing power and positioning himself as the irreplaceable linchpin, Richelieu ensured Louis XIII's total dependence on him. This historical account echoes the rules laid out in Law 11, showing how the art of puppetry can build a stronghold of influence and power. Through the orchestration of dependence, discreet manipulation, and strategic control of information, individuals like Richelieu navigate the complexities of politics, negotiating outcomes in their favor, and ultimately taking on the role of puppeteer behind the scenes. 2. Mastering the art of influence and connection. In the intricate dance of influence, one must weave a tapestry of interdependence, much like a spider spins its web to catch prey. Building control requires the delicate art of cultivating dependency and submission without overt force. Casanova, a master of this craft, used clever tricks to create needs that only he could uniquely satisfy, much like a skilled puppeteer pulling invisible strings. For instance, Casanova saw a rich elderly gentleman in search of intellectual companionship. Sensing an opportunity, he tailored his persona to meet the man's desires, engaging him in talks on philosophy, science, and culture. Through this calculated display of intellect, Casanova wove himself into the fabric of the man's life, positioning himself as the sole provider of the mental stimulation the gentleman sought. Similarly, with a young bride from a conservative background, Casanova made a seductive story, convincing her that he alone had the knowledge and experience to awaken her dormant desires. He artfully presented himself as the forbidden fruit, enticing her with promises of pleasure and passion beyond her wildest imagination. In another encounter, Casanova acted as a romantic ideal to a married woman starved for affection and excitement. Through poetry and grand gestures, he painted a vivid picture of a life filled with love and adventure, leaving her convinced that without him, her existence would remain dreary and unfulfilled. These calculated deceptions show Casanova's skill at creating a web of reliance, where individuals see him as indispensable, their needs unfulfilled without his presence. Yet beneath the surface lies a symbiotic relationship, as Casanova provides the solutions and companionship they crave, fostering trust, loyalty, and a network of reliable connections that serve his ambitions while enhancing personal and professional growth for all involved. 3. Strategic dominance through dependency and control. In the quest for power, exploiting vulnerabilities emerges as not just acceptable but necessary. As per Law 11's counsel, discerning and leveraging the weaknesses of others becomes vital, rendering them powerless without intervention. This strategic approach mirrors the age-old wisdom summed up in the saying, "A chain is only as strong as its weakest link." Building dependency ensures each link in one's chain remains firmly under control, bolstering dominion over any potential challenges. Mao Zedong's regime serves as a poignant example of this strategy in action. Mao cultivated a pervasive cult of personality, positioning himself as the embodiment of communist ideals. His teachings on Marxist-Leninist theory were sacred, beyond questioning. Contradicting Mao amounted to an ideological crime, punishable by severe consequences. Periodic purges under Mao's rule targeted intellectuals and civilians with deviationist thoughts, subjecting them to torture, execution, or brutal labor camps. Their only hope lay in desperate pleas for Mao's pardon and re-education. Mao deliberately fomented frenzy, such as during the Cultural Revolution, goading youth mobs to terrorize and humiliate suspected class enemies and disloyal individuals. Only Mao held the authority to absolve individuals, thereby maintaining absolute control over truth and reality. This deliberate cultivation of dependency ensured Mao's unquestioned authority until his demise. By consolidating power through dependency and control, Mao embodied the strategic rule of maintaining dominance by regulating access to information, resources, and ultimately, the story of truth itself. While the concept of keeping people dependent on you may raise ethical concerns, its importance lies in understanding the dynamics of power and influence within social structures. When used judiciously and ethically, it can serve as a tool for navigating complex interpersonal relationships, advancing objectives, and securing strategic advantages. However, it's essential to approach its application with integrity, empathy, and a genuine commitment to fostering mutually beneficial interactions. Ultimately, mastering this law involves striking a delicate balance between asserting influence and nurturing genuine connections based on trust and reciprocity.